Welcome back to the BRATTY BREAKDOWN Podcast. We are back after a very, very, very long break. But I'm so glad to be back. If you're new, welcome to the BRATTY BREAKDOWN Podcast. I am Genesis. And if you're not new, welcome back. Thank you for coming back and listening. So it is a few days after the Austin Grand Prix down in Texas. And it's a few days before the Mexican Grand Prix, so we are in a triple header at the moment, and yeah, we have so much to talk about the Austin Grand Prix. It was such a hectic race. It was so crazy. As a Ferrari fan, I absolutely loved it, but others can say otherwise, right? So to start off, we had a sprint and a regular race, obviously, this weekend. The sprint was won by Max, followed by Lando and Carlos, if I'm correct. Don't quote me, but I know that Max won the sprint. But yeah, after that we had qualifying for the race, and Lando Norris qualified on pole. Followed by, I think it was Max, then Carlos. I'm not sure. I am not sure. But that's who we had. But yeah, everyone was hoping for a Max and Lando win. If you watched the race, that obviously didn't happen. But we did get that amazing battle between both of them, and it was crazy. I was stoked. I don't know. It was so crazy. It felt like Lewis and Max all over again. It was so crazy. But yeah. So for the race itself, Charles won. He ended up pulling an amazing move at around lap 3, lap 4, something around there, which gave us the new Through Goes Hamilton. We got Through Goes Charles. And it was so smooth, and he ended up leading basically the whole race to end up winning. And for Ferrari, we got a 1-2, the first 1-2 in America since 2006. So that is 18 years of no 1-2s in American circuits, which is a lot. That's how much time I've been alive. So it's a lot. But yeah. So we got a Ferrari 1-2, Charles winning, followed by Carlos, and then Max third place, and then we had Lando fourth. Yeah. Okay. So I am a Ferrari fan, so obviously I am biased. This was a good race for me. But other people, for example, Lewis fans, I am so sorry for you guys. Lewis DNF'd at around lap 3. He spun in turn 19. I think turn 19, something like that. He basically spun out into the gravel, and yeah, that was the end of his race. He did the exact same thing George had done a day before, which is kind of funny, and also kind of sad for the Mercedes fans. But yeah, that ended up calling out the first safety car in over 10 races. No, in 10 races, yeah. The last safety car was in the Canadian Grand Prix. So we have that as well. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, poor Lewis. Because I think he qualified P19. So overall, this weekend was not his weekend. Unfortunately. But hey, it was a good weekend for Ferrari, and he is going to Ferrari next season. So maybe there's hope for him. I don't know, maybe. I hope. I say I hope because I really like Lewis. And I'm a Ferrari fan as well, so I don't know, I hope. But on the contrary, George Russell pulled out the power move. Like, guys, we are witnessing Prime Russell at the moment. He started off in the pits and went from the literal pits to P6, gaining points for Mercedes. And P6 is crazy. From the pits to P6, like that. If you are a George hater, get out of here. You cannot say anything after this race. Because he absolutely killed it, and it was amazing. So that was a plus for Mercedes following the DNF, right? But yeah. Others that I think did really well were Nico Hülkenberg for the Haas. Obviously, Haas being American, an American team, they brought out the eagle in them. And I felt so patriotic watching this Haas run with the red, white, and blue livery, because they had also brought a livery with like stars, and it was like so American core. Plus, it's Texas. Like, come on, that's the most patriotic state you can get here in the U.S., right? But he ended up P8 in the points, and K-Mag ended up P11, so still super close. Such a good race for Haas. Yeah, I feel like they're very underrated, but they are such good drivers. You can totally see. And I saw this meme. It was so funny. It was like Haas every other race, and then just like a snail or something, like very slow. They're like not that great. And then Haas in American soil, and they like have all the red, white, and blue, like the Eagles, you know. And it's like it's so funny because this was their home race, and they did pretty good of a job. And I enjoyed watching my American team. Plus, we have Ocon and Ollie Behrman, who are going to be driving for Haas next season. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they do well and they keep improving for next season. I definitely would like to see Ollie Behrman in the top, you know. But Franco Colapinto, who, if you don't know, replaced replaced Logan Sargent at Williams, unfortunately. But he has been doing so good. And it blows my mind. Because I'm pretty sure he's gotten points like 3 times. Like, let me search that up. Well, for Austin, he placed P10, so prime points, he's there, right? Yeah, he's been doing so good for like someone who's never driven in F1. I feel like there's definitely a future in F1 for him, and I don't know, the way he's like presenting himself with the media as well. I know that you guys have probably seen his interviews. He's such a funny man, and we love that. He's funny and he can drive good. What else do we need, right? Okay, I have his stats. So in Italy, he placed P12, which is already amazing for like his first race. Azerbaijan, he placed P8, which was his first points. Amazing as well. Singapore, he placed P11, also amazing. And then Coda, he placed P10, which is super good. I'm ecstatic. He is climbing up to be one of my favorite drivers. Now that Danny's gone, I have to pick another favorite driver. If you didn't know, Danny Ricciardo is my number one. He will always be my number one. But he is not racing right now, so I do have to pick someone else. Someone else to like watch, you know? But yeah. Also, talking about Daniel, he got replaced by Liam Lawson for Recarb. And Tokota was Liam's comeback, I guess you can say it. I don't know, because he raced before, and he's back driving for these last races. Who knows if he'll get a seat? Most likely, he'll probably stay in the V Carb, because he's also a really good driver. He plays P9 after a grid penalty, So like he started at the back of the grid and he got P9. So that's amazing. I feel like they chose right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm biased on Daniel. I would have loved to continue to see him race. But Liam also deserved a seat, and if that's what Red Bull decided, then it's what they decided, and we can't complain. And we have to support Liam because he's such a good driver as well. My P9, I'm amazed. So yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know, yeah. So yeah, we had those really good drivers, and talking about really good. Esteban Ocon got fastest lap in an Alpine. Because I know that the fastest lap was going around and around. The person who had it before him was Colapinto, and Ocon took it. He was like, "No, I need a point. I'm gonna get a point." And he got fastest lap in an Alpine. They really channeled their inner McLaren. If you didn't see, Alpine brought Indiana Jones livery, and it was like all orange, and it literally looked like a McLaren. Thank God McLaren also brought a chrome livery, which is super cool. But yeah, he got the fastest lap, which is amazing. Good job for him. I'm glad. And then driver of the day went to Charles, and I agree. But I picked Colapinto as my driver of the day. I feel like he just drove well. But it was between Franco, Liam, George, and Charles, like them four. Oh no, and Nico. Yeah, the five, because he did also really good. And I really could not choose. I am such an indecisive person, and picking one favorite, not favorite, but one driver of the day is not it for me. But I ended up with Franco, and then Charles got it, so it's pretty good. Obviously no points, nothing. It's just yeah, they voted me, bragging rights, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that was the driver of the day, and I feel like my driver of the day, if I had to choose one, it would probably be George. Yeah, I think, yeah. My driver of the day is George. There you go. My driver of the day is George. I just feel like starting from the pits to P6 was really good. I don't know what else to say besides the obvious. But I think he did really good, and yeah, he is my driver of the day for COTA 2024. Okay, let's go back to the fastest lap. Obviously, we know in Formula 1 we get 1 extra point for fastest lap. So for the teams that aren't doing well, they try to push for to get that at least 1 point, hopefully. Singapore fastest lap was Daniel Ricciardo. Being his last race, he had gotten 1 more point after many races of not being able to get points. But we have had news that the FIA wants to remove the fastest lap point for starting next season, I'm assuming. I think. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of dumb. Because if you were going to take it away, why put it in the first place? I mean, it gives teams that extra push to be able to fight for something else, especially teams in the back who aren't battling in the front for the 10 places. It gives them a chance to be able to get at least 1 point, which could be a major factor, But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about them taking away that fastest lap? I don't know. I really enjoyed watching the little purple thing move. we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Because I think they're taking away DRS too, or something like that. They're like, I think they're changing it or moving it to something. And like, by the time I have children, F1's gonna be like flying cars with no sound, no battles. Like, what is this? I get it, technology is improving, but come on. I wanna like hear that durr, you know? I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see how this keeps going. This season has been absolutely crazy. With all the switches, there are still 2 seats left and like 5 drivers. 5 current drivers that don't have a seat. Obviously, we've already seen Logan and Daniel being replaced, which for a lot of us was not it. But yeah. I don't know. Next year we'll have 2 rookies. Oh no. We have Pierre and Jack Doan. Yeah, So 3. We have Kim Antonelli, Ali Behrman, and Jack. I'm excited. Obviously Lewis going to Ferrari, Carlos switching to Williams. And that's another thing. I feel like people are like, why didn't you go to Red Bull? Why didn't you go to Red Bull? We have to remember that it's not just up to the drivers. Like, they see an empty seat, they're gonna be like, yeah, I pick this. No, it's up to, obviously it's all about money as well, you know, they're not gonna do it for free. These drivers are in this sport because, one, they like it, 2, it pays well, right? So we couldn't do that. Plus, no, Mercedes, not Red Bull. What am I saying? Yeah, that why didn't Carlos go to Mercedes? Because obviously Mercedes at that time, when Carlos was still, I guess, on the market, we can say, Mercedes still had a seat. They hadn't announced Kimi. But we have to trace back to the fact that Toto said he wanted a younger generation. So it makes sense as to why he picked Kimi instead of Carlos. But we also have to think about the fact that I feel like Williams was Carlos's only option. Yeah, we have Audi, but Audi's not going to be Audi till like 2026 or something. So he's still going to have to race the Kick Sauber, next season. And no offense to Bottas or Guan Yu, absolutely adore them. But that car ain't it. That car ain't it. One, that like green color is not it. And the car is so bad. This is why no one wants to go to Audi. No, to Sauber. My bad. Audi, I think Audi has a chance to at least being around where Haas is at the moment. And even Williams, I feel like Williams has been doing super good. But right now they're at the end of the grid and we can't do anything about it. So Carlos, I feel like his decision to moving to Williams was the best. Plus James Vowles probably like hypnotized him or something. But yeah. Also, if you look how Alex and Franco have been doing, you're like, okay, they're getting better. They're doing better. They are definitely fighting in the middle of the grid. And I don't know. I feel like Carlos can definitely push the car to its limit, maybe get a couple points here and there. Actually, no, I think he will get points. I think Carlos will get points. Obviously, he's not going to be top 5 or where he was at the moment, like winning races. Williams is not the same car as a Ferrari, but I think he can easily do top 10. And we've seen it. Franco and Alex both have gotten points throughout this season, throughout the time that they both have been driving together, at least. And yeah, I don't know. As a Carlos fan, I wished he stayed at Ferrari. But Ferrari is not gonna let go of Charles. That is their golden boy. And he's a good driver. I mean, I can't say anything about that. But they aren't gonna let him go. And obviously, if you put Carlos and a 7-time world champion, you're gonna want Lewis. I mean, whether it's biased or not, talking about money, talking about experience, you're gonna pick Lewis. I don't know. I feel like it's the most obvious choice, and it's gonna be an end of an era. These next races are really feeling kind of sure. I don't know. It's gonna be. We're gonna move on to different racers. We have rookies. We have 3 new rookies. The grid is gonna absolutely change. But I feel like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be able to see the new generation of F1 drivers fighting with current generations. Obviously, we have Fernando Alonso still here. And talking about Fernando Alonso, the Mexican Grand Prix that's coming up is his 400th Grand Prix, which is crazy. This man has raced 400 times in F1. And we'll get into it when we talk about Mexico and all of that, but it's crazy. But yeah, and then we have Lewis. Obviously, I feel like he needed that move, talking mentally, and where he wants to go in his F1 career. Obviously, he only won 1 race this season, and it was his home race, which was amazing and great for him to be able to witness one last home race, in Mercedes at least. But we'll see how he does in Ferrari. I think he'll do good. Hopefully the strategies don't mess him up, because that's what tweaks me. Like, Ferrari, you need to be smarter. But who am I? Who am I to judge? Right? But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So, yeah. And to continue with Austin, we obviously had that Max and Lando battle, which I've heard a lot of controversy over, whether Lando should have gotten that penalty, whether Max really pushed him off. And honestly, okay, looking at the footage, it does look like Max kind of so Lando had no option to go, and then obviously, gained a position, and I feel like they should have told him to give it back, and then maybe he would have been able to overtake if he wanted the points, but that didn't happen, so there was a lot of controversy, whether they should have given him that penalty and whether FIA has favoritism. And personally, I don't even know. I mean, favoritism, you never know. Honestly, you never know. These things are obviously all about money and, top, I don't know. But I do think, I know that Lando had track limits. He had already gone past his three marks, so he was still going to get a penalty either way. But did Max push him off a little bit? I do think so. I think a little bit. But come on. That's racing. Right? That's racing. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't have much to say because I feel like, I don't know. I really don't have opinions. It happened. I am a Ferrari fan and I am happy for my 1-2. But yeah. So let's move on. let's move on to the Mexican Grand Prix, which is this weekend on October 25th, 26th, 27th. If you're going, lucky you. If you're not, same. But things going on this weekend. Obviously, like I said before, Fernando Alonso's 400th race, so he does have a special helmet that he made, and it's super cute. It's like with movie strips, and they have like special moments of his career, and it has like the Aston Martin teal, and I think it's absolutely cool. I kind of like it. We also have Pato Award driving FP1 this weekend. He is a Mexican IndyCar driver that drives for McLaren Aero and is also McLaren's reserve driver. And so he will be at his home race and driving an F1 car for FP1. And I'm very excited to see, because I personally think Pato Award maybe has a future in F1. I enjoy seeing him in IndyCar. I don't watch IndyCar as much as F1, but I do follow him and what he does and all of that, and I think it's amazing. So yeah, he's him and David Malukas are my favorite drivers for IndyCar. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited to see what goes on. I am hoping for a Checo home win, but I don't think that's likely. But I hope I'm proved wrong. I really do. But we'll see how this week goes. I feel like Max is probably going to get a win, to be honest. I don't have much on predictions at the moment. Maybe Carlos as well. I obviously want to see one more Carlos Ferrari win before the end of the season. Mexico would be a really good place for him. Or even Vegas. If he wins Vegas, that'll be solid. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like most of us are hoping for a Checo win because it is his home race. But we'll see how that turns out. I don't know. And he'll probably have a special helmet too. I honestly haven't seen anything about a special helmet. Only, what's his name? Fernando. So we'll see. But yeah. Okay, so I think that's all for the Mexican Grand Prix. I mean, my predictions, let's see. Like I said, I feel like it's gonna be a Max or Carlos win. But if you wanna, for sure, let's see. Let's put it out in the universe. It's gonna be Carlos P1, Max P2, Lando P3. Fastest lap, Charles. I feel like we're gonna get one DNF. Liam and Colapinto in the points again. And Checo P5? P5? That's a long shot. But that's how it stays. You heard it here. If that is the case, I called it. You're very welcome. But yeah. Okay, let's go back to Austin. And let's talk about what occurred during that weekend. We obviously talked about the battle, how the grid ended up. Let's talk about media. We had a lot of celebrities come. We had Nara Smith and Lucky Smith. If you don't know who they are, you live under a rock. But yeah, which is really random as well. We had Polo fragrances in the paddock as well. Lando Norris just announced a collaboration with Polo Ralph Lauren fragrances with the red cologne, which is super cool. So they were there as well. We had Quavo, I think. Yeah, we had the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders there. They performed as well, which is super cool to see. Like that crossover with NFL and F1. We also had NFL X F1. There was an event. I think, right? I think, right? But there was something going on regarding the NFL, and it was cool to see. I think overall this weekend was super fun. I kept seeing everyone's videos, cute outfits and everything. There was so many people like I'm friends with online that went, and it's so cool to see. Actually, one of our BRATTY BREAKDOWN members got posted on the LN4 Instagram and Twitter, Kayla. So if you saw her with her cute Lando Norris jersey and her cute boots, that was her. So shout out to our queen. And I loved seeing everyone's outfits, how they expressed themselves this weekend with their favorite teams. And overall, it seemed like a fun weekend to watch. And I wish I could have been there. But next year, cross your fingers. Future me, if you're seeing this, I hope you went. But yeah. I was actually getting a lot of FOMO at the beginning. But like during the race, I was like, I'm glad I didn't go. Because I was like going crazy. I was so nervous too. I don't even know why. Maybe I knew I knew that it was gonna be a Ferrari win. I was so nervous. I was like, if I was at Coda right now, I would have gone crazy. I would have been pacing. I started stress eating my chips, and I had to like be out my door during that time. So it was all so crazy. But yeah. Before we talk more F1, I'd like to put in a new little segment I wanted to incorporate. Obviously, we just started our BRATTY Breakdown a couple months ago, and we're growing, and I love to see the support that everyone has given us, has given me as well on my separate stuff, like TikTok and all that. So I want to shout out at least one or two people every episode, and maybe a small business as well. I love supporting small businesses and new up and coming people who are creating content or podcasts and all of that. So here is shout out of this episode. So our first shout out is gonna go actually to one of our members of the BRATTY Breakdown. They made their own podcast, and it's absolutely cool. I love listening to Claire. But her podcast account on Instagram is Circuit of Thoughts. Maybe it probably doesn't show. If you guys can see like the video part, it's here. If not, then we'll put links and all of that. But yeah, just listen to their podcast. I definitely recommend. They have 8 episodes so far. And I'm so excited to see Claire grow. I absolutely love her. You guys have seen her in a couple of the episodes that we've done. And she's great. I love her. And so I definitely recommend you guys checking Circuit of Thoughts out on Spotify. Go follow them on Instagram. Oh, maybe you can see a little bit. Right? But yeah, that is the Instagram shoutouts so far. The first shoutout, actually. Let me rephrase, I'm not making sense. That is the first shoutout. I also want to give a small business shout out. I have a really big spending problem, which we probably all have, to be honest. I love shopping, especially when it comes to like stickers, small trinkets, stuff like that. I will give you my money, and it's really bad. But small businesses are literally amazing. I can't imagine how hard it must be to like packages and all of that. So I could never do that. That's why I'm here talking. This is what I do. I talk. But I'd like to shout out Motor Racing 101. They're a small business that focus on stickers, prints, and cute little arts. They have individual driver stickers, and they have of the cars. I've actually bought a few, and they've sent me a few freebies, and I absolutely love them. If you follow my TikTok, you have already seen that I've shown like the unboxings and what I've gotten, and I think that you guys should really check them out. The price and the quality is absolutely amazing. I was told that it was gonna get shipped. No, the first time I bought, I was told that it was gonna get shipped the next day, but it actually got shipped the same day, and I was like, oh, fast shipping too. Thank you. But I recommend go checking them out on Instagram and on TikTok. And definitely go purchase something from them. We gotta help our fellow queens with small businesses. So yeah, go check both of those shoutouts out. Yeah, and if you're a small business or an up-and-coming content creator, or you do podcasts, let us know. We'd love to check out your things. I personally love to check out what you do. And hopefully you can get a shout out. Or if you'd just like to be in the podcast, definitely we love bringing more people in, more set of opinions, obviously. I have my opinions, and other people have their opinions, and I love listening to other people's opinions. But yeah, if you guys want to do, just let me know. Don't forget to like follow all our socials, and keep listening to this podcast. So thank you. To end off this episode of the podcast, I know it was a short one, but I want to state how the season, in a way, has been going. I guess you can say that. So I'm gonna let you guys know what the driver's standing is at the moment, and what the constructors is as well. Because I feel like with Austin, Ferrari has closed the gap between them and Red Bull. So maybe we'll have a Ferrari winning constructors. But to be honest, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Personally, I do not remember who won the 2006 Constructors Champion. But I know that Fernando Alonso won the Drivers' Championship. So do whatever you want with that information if it doesn't tell you why McLaren was fighting for the constructors and not the drivers. Yeah, I don't know. But, okay. So, right now we have, with 354 points, Max Verstappen for Red Bull Racing. Then, with McLaren, with 297 points, we have Lando Norris. So at the moment, is Lando Norris between Max Verstappen? I feel like you can call it a battle because they are when I say very close, a couple 60 points away from each other. Obviously is huge compared to last year's points. Max won every race besides the Singapore, which was Carlos, so there was really no battle for the drivers, I guess you can say. So this year it has been very different, and if you've been watching and keeping up with Formula One, you can totally see that, right? So third place we have Charles Leclerc with Ferrari for 275 points. So the gap between Charles and Lando is closer than the gap between Lando and Max. And then 4th place we have Mr. Oscar Piastri from McLaren with 247 points, as he should. This season he has won 2 or 3 races. So yeah, two or 3. So he has gotten his maiden win this season, as well as Lando. So for McLaren, this has been a really good season, and I feel like they're just gonna get better. But we'll see. 5th place we have Mr. Carlos Sainz for Ferrari with 215 points. 6th, Lewis Hamilton with Mercedes, 177 points. 7th, George Russell, Mercedes, 167 points. 8th place we have Checo Perez with Red Bull with 150 points. 9th we have Fernando Alonso, 62 points for Aston Martin. 10th place we have Nico Hülkenberg for Haas with 29 points. Pretty good. 11th we have Mr. Lance Stroll with Aston Martin for 24 points. 12th place we have Mr. Yuki Tsunoda for VCarb with 22 points. Funny, because that's his number, right? Yeah. 13th place we have Alex Albon with 12 points for Williams, also with 12 points. We have Daniel Ricciardo, who drove for VCarb. Unfortunately, my stomach's growling. But unfortunately, he will stay at 12 points for the rest of the season. I personally, as a Daniel Ricciardo fan, I do not think he's coming back. I think it's retirement time or NASCAR. Because Logan is totally going to IndyCar. I 100% see it, and I believe Daniel Ricciardo is going to NASCAR. Hopefully it's right. Hopefully I'm right. But with 8 points, we have Kevin Magnussen for Haas. 16th place in Alpine, 8 points, Pierre Gasly. 17, our rookie who drove once. We have Ollie Behrman with Haas with 7 points. 18th, we have Franco Colapinto with Williams, who has 5 points currently. With 5 points also, we have Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. 20th place, we have Liam Lawson with VCarb with 2 points. And they are still 3 more people, even though it's a 20-person competition. So the last 3 with 0 points, unfortunately, we have Zhou Guanyu for Kick Sauber in 21st place, Logan Sargent in 22nd place, with Williams, who drove for Williams with 0 points as well. And then last but totally not least, in my book, Valtteri Bottas with Kick Sauber for 0 points, which kind of sucks. I don't know, but we'll see. For the constructors, we have McLaren, first place, 544 points. I feel like they're most likely going to win. Yeah, because between them and Red Bull, it's a 40-point gap. Red Bull is at 504 points, so we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. I feel like maybe actually. And then Ferrari third, 496. Mercedes fourth, 344. Aston Martin fifth, 86. 38 Haas. Then 36 VCarb. Williams with 17. Alpine with 13. And fortunately, Kick Sauber with 0 points. So that is the drivers and constructors standings for this season so far. We'll see how it changes with Mexico coming up. Yeah, that's all I have for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys really... What am I saying? No, I hope that you guys continue to listen to our episodes. We will definitely have more people joining us, not just me. I know it probably gets tiring just listening to me. But I could totally yap more if I wanted to. But we'll see how Mexico goes, and hopefully we'll see you on next week's episode for the Mexico debrief. So don't forget to follow our socials, follow all of the amazing girls that help this podcast be the BRATTY BREAKDOWN Podcast. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and if this is posted on YouTube, thank you for watching me and my weird facial expressions. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all on the next one. It's Mike's out, and away we go. Goodbye, everyone.